Good morning, boys and girls. I don't discriminate. Today, we are talking about Fumetsu no what the f is the name of this show? Fumetsu no Anata E, or better known as To Your Eternity. I'm gonna be a bit real with you guys. This season has been like a crazy busy season of anime for me, just in real life. Like, I've been working a bunch of different jobs. I've been kind of running around. I've been getting professional editing and motion graphics work that I can't even talk about because I'm under NDAs. But unfortunately, that does mean I can't watch as much anime. So even though this season has been amazing and I desperately want to watch like 8 to 10 different shows, I've had to limit it to 3 or 4. And one of those shows I've chosen is To Your Eternity, and for obvious reasons. To Your Eternity is probably one of the best anime of the season and potentially one of the best anime in the year, or at least it's set up for that. This show was, I knew it was supposed to be good. I heard nothing but positive reviews about the show. And when I watched it, I have to admit the art kind of threw me off because I thought the art was surprisingly mediocre. But man, the saying that story trumps all really comes true in this show, because holy crap, the story is so weird but like amazing. Like it's kind of hard to describe, and that's why I'm making a video on it. So let's talk about the story. Basically, this show follows some guy named Fushia, or not really a guy, a alien, I think he is, or like a god. He's either an alien or a god, or like a creation of God, or a direct creation of God, because there's this guy who's always monologuing about what Fushio is doing. But basically, it's just a being that imitates life around it and learns and becomes more and more sentient, basically. And so it starts off basically so far as being a baby. It doesn't really understand anything of the world. For a while, it imitates a freaking rock before becoming a dog, and then finally a human. Basically, this is one of those weirdly tragic shows because Fushio is immortal. He won't die. He can't get killed. He'll just constantly revive, and he doesn't age, and he's not even a human or really a living being. But he does understand emotion, and he begins to evolve and get better context as to what is going on. So that unfortunately leads to a rather tragic life, because basically everybody he knows and gets attached to dies, whether it be from old age or more likely them being murdered or getting killed, which has been a pretty consistent theme so far. But yeah, it's just one of these kind of shows I found myself surprisingly obsessed with. Every single episode I watch from this anime, I get so pulled in, and then it ends and you're like, oh my god, like has it really been 30 minutes? Because it feels like it's only been 5 minutes. It's just such an intriguing, I would almost say magnetic story, because once an episode starts, you just do not want to drop it. You just are so addicted to what happens and what Fushio learns and what happens to the people around him who care for him, and then also just how horribly he's treated by people who don't understand him. Well, I guess most people don't understand him, but like that the fact that some humans are capable of extreme levels of cruelty and other humans are capable of extreme levels of kindness, and it kind of shows that duality, especially with the most recent arc. Man, they did March dirty in that arc. I love the show. I'm so glad. I didn't think this show would have the balls to kill like a cute little girl, but they did it. They killed her ass. I wasn't expecting that. I might have cried a little bit, but hey man, I'm a pretty weak-willed individual. I don't even know what the fuck I'm supposed to talk about. I really didn't like plan any of this out. But I think what really grabs me the most about this show is the main character, Fushio, or that's what he calls himself now, but he doesn't really know how to speak yet. Basically, it's this really interesting dive of what makes us human versus if another being is trying to imitate us, right? There's a lot of weird inconsistencies we take for granted as being humans that we just have instinctually put into us. Like, for instance, having a mother, being able to learn a language pretty easily when we're younger, and things like that, right? With Fushio, we see that there are a lot of advantages to being a human, and that's coming from an immortal being who has godlike abilities and can transform into monsters and create carnage, right? He doesn't have a family, he doesn't have a way to communicate, and he doesn't have those instinctual things like survival instincts, for instance, that humans have, and that means that he matures at an extremely slow rate. It's only when he interacts interacts with other humans who want to do great kindness, who want to help him, that he's able to learn and evolve into a slightly more human being, or slightly more animalistic being. It's kind of hard to say. It's such a weirdly natural show. The best metaphor I can think for this show is it's kind of like Mushishi, where it's slow, sad, but weirdly spiritual. There's a lot of ambiance. I don't know how to say it, but it feels like a very spiritual show that is just kind of refreshing and just really different from anything that's coming out right now. It just really stands out because I feel like most anime are pretty formulaic in how they handle things, but seeing a show go ahead and try something completely different from anything I've seen in media in a long time, where it's this immortal being, but he's not like evil, he's not like a genius, he is this thing, like not even human. He's not an animal either. He's this like almost god. He is sort of in a way a god because he's immortal and he learns from others, but you know, to say that he is superior would be an overstatement, I guess. I mean, he's humbled a lot by humans and their kindness and their knowledge. There's so many weirdly good things about this show that I'm struggling to talk about them because it is just such an interesting anime. It definitely has the potential to be another Mushishi, another show that is just weirdly, I don't want to say weirdly, but that is extremely spiritual and like positive, but also not afraid to talk about the darker parts of life and the darker parts of spirituality. The darker parts of spirituality? I don't know if that really makes sense, but I think you guys get what I'm trying to convey because there's not many words to convey what I'm talking about. It's just one of those shows that you have to watch to understand what I'm talking about. It almost puts you into a lull, puts you almost in a meditative state where you just kind of accept what's happening. You don't question the weird and interesting spirituality of the world. It just makes the world seem so much bigger and so much more interesting than it really probably is. Sorry for the weirdly unusual video, but trying to describe To Your Eternity turned out to be much more difficult than I'd expected. Like most of my videos, I'm able to talk exactly about what I want and break down my thought process. But for this one, I really struggled because it's such a spiritual like kind of show that I've said spiritual way too many times in this video, by the way. But it's such a weirdly powerful show that I have to talk about it. And every time I watch it, I just want more. Either way, thank you guys for watching. Like I said, this video was kind of shorter than what it should have been, or unless it's longer than I thought it was going to be, but I don't think it's going to be very long. Mostly because we are retiring Rex. Today's a sad day, but Rex is the computer that I use to edit, do motion graphics, and other stuff like that. But we have a new computer in. His name is Hans. My Twitch chat named him, and today we are building him on twitch.tv/MinoeMatt, or we should be, unless it comes in late, but it should be here by Thursday, so we should be good. It should be here, and we should be able to build them by Saturday, which it is today for you guys, but for me, it's Tuesday. Long story short. Yeah, so this is actually the last ever edited video that's going to be on this computer before he gets sent to a new home. Someone bought him, so he's not being destroyed or sold for parts. So that's good. Also, sorry for being weirdly quiet or like not very upbeat and talkative. It's like 4 in the fucking morning, which is why I'm not trying to be a dick. But either way, huge thing to my patrons, you guys are my heroes. Please make sure you guys share, like, comment, and subscribe. This is Man Matt. Make sure you guys stay man and go watch that goddamned anime.